Thanks, Larry. So one thing to point out, actually a couple of things. If you look at the talent in the diaspora, we look to you sometimes because of the exposure that you have. So for instance, I think it was Kendra, you mentioned quite a bit how regulated, for instance, the US is, the defensive and the offensive. In most of the emerging markets, that is regulation we are rising up to, that is just beginning to come out. So the experience that we find in those markets is very rich. And so sometimes we look to the diaspora to be involved in giving us that knowledge transfer, and we look to the skills that we might be able to get from there. But then on the other hand, any of this stuff of digital transformation or digitization costs money. It really does. That's the most simplest way to put it. So the diaspora can be actively involved, in one way, partnering with these companies down here in Africa, and also those down in Africa partnering with the diaspora to create value on all angles. The exchange of skills from the diaspora, and also some bit of money from both sides as well, to build solutions that actually make sense. So I think that is something that we look to the diaspora to quite a bit.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you there, Raymond, and you sort of took the words right out of my mouth in terms of being able to provide guidance in terms of what happens in the markets where we reside, right? Whether it's America or the UK or France, being able to bring that know-how back is going to be critical. And then I think that the diaspora also plays a major part, to your point, in helping to find access to capital, right? Or opportunities for these markets across Africa. And I think one of the things, if I'm being candid, that we have to work on both sides, the diaspora and the citizens of the continent, is forging more formal relationships with each other, and really being more strategic about the opportunities that we have. Because if we look at, to your point about some of the practices, once you get registered in countries, you start to hit barriers when you're trying to drive certain opportunities. And so I think when we come together as diaspora, and again, representatives of these countries, talk about what could and should be done, we should move forward as a singular unit, in my opinion, versus us pitching you all or you all pitching us for things. I think we need to be more strategic as a unit as we move forward. But I do see that as an opportunity. But I think you hit it spot on in terms of the know-how and the investment opportunities.
I think both of you are absolutely correct in that regard.